It is massive and breathtaking and critical to our ocean's ecosystem. And according to researchers from both the University of Oregon and Oregon State, the LeConte Glacier in Alaska is melting at a rate much higher than what's been predicted. It's a finding the researchers made from this boat about a half-mile away from the glacier using sonar. By bouncing sound waves off the glacier, they were able to get images of what its face looked like. They then compared those images over 2 years.
So you could see exactly, with some uncertainties, of course, in measurements, but exactly where the glacier melted and by how much.
They expected to find that the glacier was melting almost exclusively in the area where the water flowing beneath it rises to the surface. This has long been a leading theory. But that is not what these scientists found.
It was alarming to us how much of the melt was happening away from these very vigorous plumes.
Instead, they discovered the glacier is melting not just in those turbulent areas, but almost everywhere.
You can hear the ice melting.
Even in quiet areas they thought were safe from melt, and they were going fast.
The main finding of that study is that the melt rates along the glacier faces are about 100 times larger than the theoretical models that we've been using to make those predictions of ice melt.
The question now, what's causing the glacier to melt in these areas? One thought is that once the glacier starts melting even a little bit, it can't stop.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It's a theory these researchers will be putting to the test in the coming years.
We don't know that yet. That's really just a little bit of an intriguing thought.
But what they do know is that these findings will allow them to better track which glaciers are shrinking the fastest and how that might impact our oceans.
Ultimately, there's somewhere between 0.5 meter and 2 meters of sea level rise predicted for within the end of this century. And so that's the things that's concerning. Is it a 0.5 meter sea level rise, or is it 2 meters of sea level rise by the end of the century?
In Portland, Keely Chalmers, KGW News.